We're going to talk today about something called the first 15 seconds. It's the amazing power of first impressions. And I first started thinking about this seriously when I was invited to go on a ride along with a buddy of mine from high school about 30 years after graduation. He was a police officer in Sheboygan, Michigan. And he said, "Would you like to go? I know you're coming up north on vacation. Would you like to do a ride along in the patrol car? It'll give you and me a chance to catch up since high school, and it might be a good experience for you." Just a show of hands, how many of you have had a chance to ride in a police car in the front seat? Yeah, it's a very unusual experience, and one of the things I noticed on the ride along was that Patrolman Frazier took the first 15 seconds of a traffic stop very, very seriously. And he knew quite a bit about the car he had stopped for speeding before he even got out of the car, before the 15 seconds even started. For example, he knew who owned the car. He knew the driving record of the person who owned the car. He knew how fast that car was going because he was using radar. And he was highly trained about how to approach the car. So I was in the windshield and I could watch him approach the car, and he did some interesting things, and it was an interesting vantage point for me in that first 15 seconds. As he approached the car, Patrolman Frazier, on one of the cars, he knocked on the trunk of the car. Why do you suppose he did that? He was listening to hear how it sounded, if the trunk sounded hollow or full. It would be an interesting observation. On one of the stops, he actually checked the latch of the trunk to see if it was open. It's a dangerous time to be a police officer these days, so he was checking on his own safety. Some of you know that when you're stopped by a police officer, the police officer could stand in front of you here where it's fairly easy to talk with him, but he doesn't stand there, does he? Where does the police officer stand when he pulls you over? He stands behind you. Yeah, how did you know that, Jesus? We all know it. Everybody's been stopped by a police officer, and they stand behind you. And the reason they do that is statistically, most people are right-handed. So if they have a weapon, mace, a knife, a gun, it takes another fraction of a second to reach all the way around their body like that to bring it upon the patrolman. So the patrolman knows he needs all that extra time to be prepared. And by the way, there's a post in the car that can come into play if he needs to defend himself. So all of these things are on the patrolman's mind when he pulls you over in the first 15 seconds.